Hello everyone, this is a tutorial on how to install Seismic Unix on Windows. So Windows offers this new feature that allows you to run Linux as a program built inside the operating system. So to activate this, you need to come to your control panel. Then you go to programs and features, and you click here on turn Windows features on or off. So here you'll see some of the features that are available, and the one that we're looking for, it's this one called Windows Subsystem for Linux, which I already have it activated. So you activate that, and once you activate it, it's gonna take some time until it installs and set up all the features. After that, you will be able to run Linux on your computer. So the next thing you need to do is go to your Microsoft Store and look for Ubuntu, which is what we're going to use as the operating system for Linux. So you look for Ubuntu, click on it, and here it says launch, because I already installed it, but for you it's going to say install. So you install it and then you launch it. Once you launch Ubuntu and it's done with the installation, you will pretty much find Ubuntu here installed in your computer, so you'll have it as an application. In my case, I already have it opened here. So once you open it, it's gonna ask you, it's gonna take some time to install it, and it's gonna ask you for a username. So when you open it, shows you this installing. This may take a few minutes. Then it asks you for a Unix username, and then it's gonna ask you for a new password. So I typed Jose as my username, and I used a very short password that I could remember, because you need to remember this password because every time you install a new software inside Ubuntu, it's gonna ask you permission to do it through this password. So just don't forget it. So my username Jose, and I type my password. Then Ubuntu, it's you need to know a few programming commands to work with Ubuntu. So for example, here pwd, it stands for print working directory, and this is my working directory. This is home and Jose. So this is as if you open the Windows Explorer. It tells you which it tells you where you're located, the location of your folders. For example, I have this folder here called Seismic, which is in d/seismic. So here we are in the disk C, but in a folder called home, in another folder called Jose. ls is to list the files that you have inside a folder, but here there's no return because I have nothing yet. But for example, let's create a folder, and this folder is gonna be called test. No, new folder. So if you use this command mkdir new folder, then it creates a new folder. So then you list your directories ls, and you have this new folder. So if you wanna remove things, let's say you wanna if you wanna remove it, then you use new folder rm new folder, and you need to okay, so when removing a folder, you're removing a directory, so you need to use rmdir and then new folder, it removes your directory. So you can find a lot of information on the internet on how to use these commands, but today I'm just explaining a little bit of the basic ones. So now that we have now that we have Ubuntu, we need to get Seismic Unix. So I have this Word document here. This is the website that takes you to, it's like the website for Seismic Unix. And for Seismic Unix, we're gonna need two programs. We're gonna need Seismic Unix, but also this software called XMING, which you download from this website here. Let's take a look at the Seismic Unix. So this is the website, the Seismic Unix website. And here you'll find tutorials, documentation, some help on how to install Seismic Unix, and also the link to download Seismic Unix. So there are several versions of this software. The most current and updated one is this one, the CWPSUALL44R19.tgz. So the .tgz, it's like a RAR file, so it's just a compressed file. And I already downloaded this this installer. So you also need to download the XMING, the XMING software, which I already did it, and it's here. It's this server. So it's the way that Seismic Unix has to create an interface with your computer, with your PC computer, so you can see the outputs of the processing of Seismic Unix in Windows. So this is the summary of what you need to do to install Seismic Unix. So I created this folder called Seismic, which is in my disk D, and then Seismic folder, and this is the installer. Inside the installer, there's this src folder, which is this one here, uncompressed, and here we have all the information that it's going to be installed in Seismic Unix. There is a file with the installation instructions, which is this one. So you can take a look at it if you want. It actually has a lot of good information, but I didn't follow this one because I'm installing it in Windows, not in Ubuntu. What else? All right, so here all these folders will be installed and copied into your folder that you created inside your Seismic Unix window. You can't access your folders through the Windows Explorer for Ubuntu because this is another operating system inside Windows. So the only way to look at folders and create folders, for example, it's just like using the command line. So that's why I explained a little bit of what we needed to do. CD is also to go to folders. So let's make this folder called, let's create a new folder again. So here's my new folder, and if I want to go inside the new folder, I type cd new folder, and see, I'm inside new folder. So I type ls again. You see that there's nothing there. If I print my working directory, I'm inside home, Jose, and new folder. If I want to go back to my home folder, then I just type cd and I go straight to my home folder. And we can see that the new folder is right there. So I'm just gonna remove it so we can install it. Now, we're gonna, to save time, we're just gonna copy and paste the code from this Word document to here. So this is what we need to do first to integrate Xming and Ubuntu. So this is what we're gonna do first, and we also install this. Copy. So see, every time we install something, it asks for a password. So type my password and then installs it. It starts to install it. All right, so we are going to, we don't need this part here. We're going to, this line tells Ubuntu which one is going to be our home directory all the time. So we're just setting our home directory. This is to, so when we install Seismic Unix, it knows which one is our home directory, and it installs everything straight into the home directory instead of telling it every time where to install each of the folders. Now, see this line here, cd. So I'm gonna go to, so cd, I'm telling Ubuntu that I'm gonna go to a folder. So I'm gonna mount my disk D, and then I'm gonna go into the Seismic folder. So I'm gonna come here to copy this file, and I can't copy it through the Windows Explorer, so I have to use the command line to copy these and paste it in another folder. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go to Seismic, and see, I'm here inside my Seismic folder. If I list what I have inside, here is here's the software, here's Seismic Unix, what I need. So I'm gonna move this to the home directory. So I'm gonna move the installer with this name to the home directory, and I'm gonna call it this name, twpsu. I can use any name here, but I would suggest just keeping that one. I don't have this, you see the two names are a little different, so I can change the name, but I'm just moving. So I move that, then I go to my home directory, type ls, and see, here is my compressed installer, and see, it's not here anymore, so I moved it. Now I am going to gun zip it to uncompress. So now we should have two files. Well, one, because the other one is deleted, but see, it's tgz and .tar. So it changed. We had tgz before, we have tar now. It's because it's uncompressed. Now we are going to finish uncompressing it with this command and see. So what's happening right now, I'm uncompressing and creating this src folder with all these files. So it's ready. Now I am going to this is this line of code. It's so we can use Ubuntu to read C code, because it's pretty much based on C or C++ maybe, but that's I need to install that. It takes some time to install. Oh, I'm forgetting something here, so I need sudo get upgrade. All right, so see, it's telling me to run apt-get update to fix some of the problems. So I should have done that before. So I'm gonna fix it here. And before installing this, now let's run this first. Run an update. And then we will upgrade Ubuntu. We're not installing Seismic Unix yet. We just have copied and uncompressed the folder that has all the files to install Seismic Unix. We're now getting ready Ubuntu to install Seismic Unix. All right, now we're gonna upgrade it. Want to continue? Yes. Yeah. All right, so we give it some time to install. This one's already here. All right, so now let's install this. Continue, yes, and also here, here in the, so we are in the Seismic folder in SRC. There's this folder called configs. So here is the file that is required for all different versions of Linux available. So the one that we're going to use for our system, we're going to use this one. So we have to tell the system which one to use, but not here. Have to tell it here in Ubuntu. So here you see that we have this line, copy folder, in the folder configs, the file makefile.config linux x8664. We'll copy that file into the makefile config inside Linux. So that's something to keep in mind of what we're going to do during the installation, because that's an essential step to realize that there are all these files that can be used for each version, even for Macintosh. Depending on which Macintosh version you're using, you also have to choose this one. In our case, we're picking this one. All right, so this is ready. Then we're gonna remove the, now we're going to go into the SRC file. So let's list the files that we have. See, so we have our uncompressed file here, and we have the SRC folder. And inside the SRC folder, we have, let's go to SRC. We are inside SRC, and now we're gonna list and see we have the makefile.config folder, which, oh no, the configs folder. So let's go to cd configs ls, and here are all the make files. So let's go back to the home directory, and we're going to remove any makefile config that might be there, that might be in SRC, sorry. So let's go first to SRC, then remove it. So we removed this one. So let's type ls again and see makefile.config, it's not here anymore. Now we're gonna copy from the configs folder, we're gonna copy this file and call it makefile.config. So copy and paste, and now we have our makefile config again, but it's this one, the 8664. Now we're gonna install all these other there are like libraries that allow Ubuntu to work with Seismic Unix. So again, we haven't installed Seismic Unix yet. We're just getting ready our system to work with it. All right, now we're gonna install this. Now this one too. This command here comes from, so in case you want to visit this website too, GitHub, John Stockwell Jr., who's one of the developers, I think, of Seismic Unix, has this website, and people here ask him questions. So I found that part of code, I think, comes from here. Yeah, it comes from here. So someone had issues during the installation. Oh, never mind. I don't remember, but this line of code comes from one of the installation issues that someone did here. Yeah, it's a problem for Windows Subsystem for Linux. So the line of code comes from here, so we can give it like permissions to install. So I'm just gonna run that just to avoid running into any issues during the installation. Now we are in SRC, so make install. Now we're gonna install Seismic Unix. So this one, make install, installs Seismic Unix. See, install CWP codes and continue installation. Yes. See, CWP Seismic Unix, and hit return key to continue. Yes. No. And finally, we're installing Seismic Unix. So hopefully we don't run into any issues. All right, so I think now these are some other parts of software that we need to install to have Seismic Unix working correctly. And this one, let's repeat it. There's an error there, but hopefully we won't have issues with it. Fortran. And we're almost done. So this last 2 lines will be just to run a test. And if you look at, well, I'll add some information here about the manual. From the manual that allows us to check when it has been installed correctly. Let's see. Okay, so this is from Dr. Stockwell. I asked him to send me. I was asking him some questions, and he sent me this manual, which has pretty much his classes. So this is the test. It's the subplane test. It's just a test that with some data that's inside. So see, this is the subplane test, and pretty much it allows you, once you install it, it allows you to. It helps you for more tests, but in this case, I'm gonna use it to check for that the installation was correct. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the subplane test pattern, and this is, we'll see something similar after we're done with installation. Okay, so we type cd and here's our test. So see, X image, this is from the Xming software that we installed at the beginning. And that's it. We have Seismic Unix ready and installed. So let's close this. And that's pretty much. Thank you very much.